Well, good morning, my ladies and my gents. Today, we're going to take a quick look at VCG engines and how easily they go together. A lot of people, they see a 3D print engine and they're going, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it? Excuse me, it ain't hard. This is my 51 Chevy that I went through and I went a little buggy with it and put a big block Chevy roots blower, twin carb, and what wound up being through the hood exhaust. Just mainly because I couldn't get the exhaust to fit out, underneath and through and everything, and decided, screw it. We're going to have some fun with it. But this is the kind of thing you can do. I wound up using a Grant flamethrower distributor. If I can get it kind of zoomed in there, instead of your standard, just because, hey, why not? A lot of VCG stuff is in this one. Steering wheel, tachometer, gear shifter. I used a B&M shifter, B&M hydrostick transmission. You can see where I've had to kind of carve out the frame in order to get the pulleys to fit. This really wasn't designed for a big block engine, but one thing that I will say about Josh's engines, they are very accurate 1-to-1 for size. Most kits are not that accurate, so you wind up with a engine that's a fair bit bigger than the engine compartment. Say take the Revell 62 Impala, the 3-in-1. I love that car. I love the lines on it. But it comes with a 409. Josh offers, VCG, he offers a 409. And you get that put together and you try to tuck it in. It don't fit. You get a Ford, they have their W block, Y block, and try to fit it into a Mobius Ford pickup, and it doesn't exactly fit. It's too big. Only real complaint, and that has to do more with the kit manufacturers than with Josh's, because Josh's stuff is just beautiful. But first we're going to talk about you need CA glue. Working with resin, you need CA glue. Any cyanoacrylate glue will work. This is Loctite. I had several of it, and then I found that Josh started offering. This is the Super Gold. This runs about $10 for this bottle. It's good stuff. If you're using it for glass, like for your clear plastic windows, it's really great. Use it sparingly; it won't fog your clear. This is your basic go-to. It's basically the same stuff as this and the other Gorilla Glue, the brands, whatever brands you want to use. This I can get through Josh. It's about $5 for a half ounce or 14 grams. These little guys are about $4, and it's 4 grams. You do the math. This is the deal. Now, before you start saying, well, that's a lot of money to spend, this is my second bottle. My first one lasted, I think, 4 months. It'll last a while. So, just to kind of give you an idea, show you what we got, and to show that this really isn't scary, and some of the little tidbits that go along with it. First, Josh gives you, when you go in, let's get this zoomed a little bit in. Okay. You'll get air cleaners. Usually you'll get a couple of different air cleaners, sometimes 3. This one has 3. It's got, the little one, but yeah, one of the little deals. The engine block, basic engine block. And when you start actually looking at it, first, it's got the, the various things, and it's at SBC, so it's a small block Chevy. And I need to get a cough drop. If you'll excuse me for just one moment, so I don't start coughing. Okay. But you stop and look at it, and then you look at the front. Look on, well, that's interesting. I wonder what might go there. So we'll get to that here in a minute. This one, it's the 383 stroker, and it's got a competition style reservoir, and it generally fits right along here, this direction. And if you look, it's got this little indent, and if you look right here, that's where the oil filter goes, and that fits like this. You can, if your build absolutely calls for it, you can turn it around, but then you need to do something about that. So, but it can be done. But like I said, that's depending on your build. So, but then you stop and look. I wonder what that stuff could be. So you dig out your happy little bag of itsy bitty goodies. This is the part that scares a lot of people. So tip that down a little bit. Well, what do we have here? We have the engine cover. This is what I mean by it all makes sense when you start putting it together. Look at that. It fits right there. Very obvious. And of course that goes down around the front of your oil pan. Look how nice that is. See? Fits together real nice. Then you've got, let's see if I can, there it is. We have the water pump. I wonder how that fits on. Well, let's take a look at it. It's got these 2 little feet here. See them? We have 2 little feet. Wow! It goes right on those little feet, just like that. One thing I like to do, water pump, I will take and drill a 1/2 millimeter hole right along the middle. I'll take it and push in just a little bit to give it indent for the bit to start. And I'll also do it right along here in this part. This is for the lower radiator hose. And if you decide later you don't want to put one in, you don't have to. The hole's there if you want. Right here, I'll put one, that's for one of the radiator hoses. And while we're talking about that, we come up here to the intake manifold. You've got your thermostat housing right here. I will take another hole and drill in right along in here somewhere, depending on where the manifold, how it's put together. Little hole there for the other heater hose that come in right about the water galleys, and going into the air galleys that you've got. This is the hole for the distributor. If you've got a Ford, it's going to be up here somewhere, and this is going to be in a slightly different place, but it's very obvious when you look at it what it is. It's your intake manifold. Very nice. You've got your heads. One of the little deals. You've got holes pre-drilled for your spark plug wires. Don't gotta use them, but they're there. Lots of room within the block if you want to, if you got, so much extra wire and you want to do something with it, it can get tucked in there without a problem. One of the things to watch is your alignment when you go to put it on. Most of Josh's engines do not have any kind of keys, alignment pegs or anything. Some do, and more that he's doing is starting to have them. Makes it easier to align. But one thing to be careful of, if you happen to, whoops, let's see, let me get one of the heads, or the valve covers. When you look at the valve cover, you can see that it's got the little supports. Get you a sanding stick. This happens to be a nail file. Works just as well. It's smaller. And just go over it. Don't get too carried away or you wind up taking too much of the resin off and you wind up ruining the part. But when you get to this point and you've got this little bit of roughness, you put glue on it and you go to put it, say, on the head. Be sure to have your alignment straight when you go to put it on, because if you wind up getting it crooked, the nature of CA glue, resin, and that roughness, if you get it crooked, you're not going to be able to slide it. I don't care what the glue says, even if it does take 20 seconds to set. It will bond instantly. You're going to have to get some kind of, maybe a tweezers, knife, something, pop it open. And then start over again. But yeah, just be sure and get your alignment straight when you go to glue it on. That's one of the bigger things. But you start looking at your little bitsy parts. He includes things like 4 different types of distributors, and 2 of them are drilled for wires. This one here, the MD, it's got an MSD coil built into it, but you're going to need to strip the wires down a little bit to get them to tuck into those littler holes. You don't really want to drill them out because then you're going to wind up breaking them. Ask me how I know. This one, the spark plug wires, fits in real nice. This one is just your basic dummy. You want to, you got a kit and you're building basically box stock, but it comes with just a blob for a distributor. It looks ugly. You can actually stick that in there and it'll look better. My personal opinion, getting spoiled by this, it doesn't look finished. He's also got one. Let's see if I can find it here. There you are. This one, you basically take and twist your wires together, cram them in there and fill it up with CA glue and hold it and let it set. Simpler than feeding each one of the wires into the little holes, but you wind up with a blob. If your distributor is hiding behind a big air cleaner and underneath the firewall, no big deal. You're not really going to see it, but still. Some of the little fiddly parts that you got. There is like this guy and this guy. They're your thermostat housings. And this one includes two. One is straight, one is angled. You remember the little right along here, and I showed you that I would take and put a heater hose right here. This is where one of these guys goes, and depending on how you want to set it up, it gives you the option. Okay. Let's see, here's one. This is one of the deals, and he includes little things to fit on it. He also includes the type that doesn't have a hole, but he's got this that's basically your standard take it off, dump oil in, their standard breather. And then he's also got one that's got a paper filter. No big deal. It's not big and scary. There's your coil, and it's also got a hole in it for your wire. He includes engine mounts in some of them. He's not so much anymore, but he is with, the older ones. I've never had good luck with the engine mount. I've never been able to get it to set in right where I want it to. So I've not been putting them in, but that's my choice. He's got an alternator, two different alternators. One's got a mount, one doesn't. Oil filter. Well, gee, I wonder where the oil filter might go. Well, let's look at the bottom of the motor. How about right here, where we talked about with the indent in the oil pan? Hey. Starter is a suggestion. It will fit kind of, sort of, looking at the bottom of the block here, and it fits kind of, sort of, along in there. You get your bell housing on, and it's got a little indent on it, and that kind of fits up against that. It just kind of tucks in there. You're not really going to see it because it's all up under the frame. No big deal, but you'll definitely notice if it's not there. This one comes with a Holley carburetor, and you can even see the Holley on it. It's got the, some of the linkages that you can see, and stuff for the fuel lines that you can mount up. They're really cool carburetors. A lot of detail in them. This one, it has your belts, of course. This one includes a power steering pump and reservoir. And of course, this one comes with hooker style headers because it's more of a hot rod engine. This one also comes with a fan and a fan clutch, but it's just a really nice looking fan. And it comes with a fan clutch, but you stop and look at it. Yeah, there's a lot of fiddly parts, a lot of little parts. And then you start looking and you go, wow, that goes here. Wow, that goes there. If you built engines for kits and you start looking at the little fiddly parts that you got here, you'll start recognizing them. You'll start seeing just exactly what all and where all and why all, and everything makes sense. So if you're going to build a resin engine, pull all the parts out kind of like this, whoops, and start looking at it. Start test fitting, start seeing how they go together. you'll get a real good idea. This happens to be the 383 stroker small block Chevy. All of Josh's engines go together similarly. They're all built on the same general principles. And there's no need to get scared, no need to get spooked. Okay, yeah, it's got some fiddly parts. Take your time. Paint stuff, get the stuff painted up. A lot of this, when you start looking at it, you gotta, if you happen to have sheer stubbornness and a very tiny brush, whoa, come back to your starter. You can wind up getting a lot of detail in this, in addition to what's already molded in. I've got some 409 engines over here that have got Chevy part numbers actually stamped into the exhaust manifolds. On the intake manifold, it actually has stamped on it the firing order on the front of the intake manifold. And it's that kind of detail that's available for this kind of stuff. So, but all in all, it is not hard. It's not something to shy away from. Me personally, and this is not, Josh is not paying me to do any of this. I'm doing this on my own. Me personally, I like the kind of detail that is on the VCG and the Scale Auto Model Works line here. You wind up with some really great detail in it. And it, I've looked at other vendors that are out there. Their stuff is, you know, it winds up coming on the trees, on the supports. This, as I pulled it out, this is how you get it. The only difference is I put the transmission in the bag with this. He doesn't. He basically, you have, you know, it gives you a choice of transmissions in most of his kits. And he'll already have them all lined up in a bin, and when he goes to get them, he gives, oh, we want the 383 stroker, we want the Tremec T5, and grabs it, puts them together in a box. But he also, one thing that the only complaint that I have, the way that Josh packs them, this faces this way, and you can't read what it is because of the stuff in front of it. I just get it, take it out, turn this around, stick it in here so that I can read it. That is and if that's the biggest complaint that I got, man, I'm batting 1,000 with this. And I've done too much talking today, so I'm going to sign out, and I'm going to head out, and I'm going to do my own thing today. And so, B-Tex, signing out.